because of the service that I have given this district the time that I have been in the Congress of the United States. I've been there to make the tough choices, to make the tough fights on behalf of working families and behalf of the economics of this district over those years. This is not an easy job. It's a hard job. It's a wonderful job. It's an honor to be given this forum by the people that I represent to participate in this government in this fashion where we have open debate and we have open differences. But you do have to make some tough choices. I appreciate that Rick doesn't like the 1099 provision of the health care law, but his entire party voted against the repeal of that, even though the Chamber of Commerce and the NFIB small businesses supported it. They preferred to have the political issue as opposed to the solution. I appreciate he's against the privatization of Social Security, except his entire party is on record for the privatization of Social Security and changing Medicare to a voucher program. So this isn't about, quote, abstract solutions. These are about tough choices that you have to make. I appreciate he would go to Washington and raise hell in Washington at his desk and pound on the desk to get the ships from the mothball fleet to Vallejo. The problem wasn't in Washington. The problem was finding a private sector company that had the financial wherewithal to make the bid. We do this in the private sector. We don't do this in the government.
That's right.
The problem is here, in the private sector. I know this district. I grew up in this district. I've worked in the refineries. I worked in the canneries. I worked on road crews. I worked as an operating engineer. I worked on tugboats. I worked on oil tankers in this bay. I worked every moment of my spare time. My wife and I have been married for 47 years. I've had to work from the get-go. And I understand what it means to work and to hold the job together and to hold the budget together. I appreciate he balanced the military budget. It's almost an oxymoron. There's so much money flowing into the military. If you can't budget that budget, you can't balance it. They never saw a reduction.
Whoops.
So let's just understand, there's a world of difference between that and trying to deal with this. You're looking at the only person in Congress that wrote legislation that was introduced by me as a progressive member of Congress, took a lot of heat, that said we should be on pay-as-you-go. If you believe something's so important, either raise taxes or cut another program. It took me 10 years to get that passed into law. As a result of that, for the first time since World War II, America had 3 years of balanced budgets, and we handed off a surplus to George Bush with a projected surplus of $5 trillion. What is the first thing the Republicans did when they came into control of the Congress with George Bush? They repealed pay-as-you-go. Because just like Rick Tubbs, they wanted to give a tax cut to the wealthiest people in the country, but they didn't want to be held accountable for it. When I passed the law to lower the interest rates for those students and their families taking out loans, to increase the Pell Grant so middle-class families can have help with college, every nickel of it was paid for in a knockdown fight with the big banks and the lenders of this country to end the subsidies that we were giving them to loan the government's money to the students. George Bush the first said these were wasteful subsidies. Bill Clinton said these were wasteful subsidies. George Bush the second said they were wasteful subsidies. Barack Obama was the first president that had the courage to get rid of them and recycle them on behalf of America's families. No deficit to that.